and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make wire wrapped hoop earrings. I'm going to be using gold hoop bases and blue floral ceramic beads. And I don't have much else to say. This was a requested video in my comment section, so let's just get right into it. So your materials you're going to need, I am using 26 gauge gold core wire, or gold color, sorry, it's copper core wire. This comes in a big spool, but you can also get this in a tinier spool. I got this particular one at Hobby Lobby. You can use a 24 gauge as well. The next thing you're going to need is some hoop bases. You can do this with any size of hoop that you want. You can also use any type of bead that you want, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but the hoop bases that I'm using are from Hobby Lobby. They are gold plated, and they are the 35mm hoop bases if you shop there for your supplies. The beads I'll be using are these little ceramic blue flowered and white beads. You can find these in different sizes. This particular size is 6mm. I also have 8mm, which you can use as well. Just to show you another option of beads you can use seed beads and wrap that a little bit tighter. And I will try to insert a picture. I don't know if I can, but you can definitely use these or any other type of bead that you want. The options are pretty much endless. The two tools that I'll be using are going to be my flush cutter to cut the wire, and then also my crimper tool. This is certainly optional, but I really like this for making my finishing off the earrings, and you'll see that in just a little bit. So to go ahead and get started, I'm going to grab my wire, and you just need to cut. It kind of depends on what beads you're using, but I'm going to base it off of using these 6mm glass beads or ceramic beads, and I'm gonna cut about 16 inches of wire. You can do less, you can do more, whatever feels right. And then I'm just taking my flush cutters and I'm going to snip that off. Now we have our wire cut, so I'm going to take my hoop base, and with these particular hoops, I like to flip this little tab open here, and since it has a loop, to keep it kind of steady on there, I like to start by wrapping the wire around that little part first to keep everything nice and straight, and then just pull that through. And now we are just going to hold it kind of horizontally up or vertically up from here, and you're just going to do a couple wraps with no beads, because eventually your stable wire will not be on there once we're done with the earrings, and so this is what you will glue down to your hoop base to keep your finished design intact. So I have made my loops, and you can see here I did about 6 or 7, and now we are ready to put on our first bead. We're going to take our bead, trying to get this into focus, and slip it down onto the wire. Okay. And then, now, when you're working on the opposite earring, you'll want to flip this whole thing around. However, for this one, we're going to take our wire, hold the bead right here with a medium grip just to keep it in place, and then wrap that wire around the hoop base one more time and come up right next to it. Now, because I'm using bigger beads, I'm going to do another loop. If you're using seed beads, you might want to look up a picture of how those are supposed to look if I can't insert them. So I'm going to do 3 little loops around to separate the beads since they're pretty big. And then we're just going to pick up another bead, take it down the line, kind of hold it where we want it, and you can do more wraps in between if you want, and repeat those same steps. So we're pulling it through, coming under that hoop base right up next to the bead. And then we're going to complete a few more wraps. This is a very beginner-friendly design, and if you're practicing on how to keep your wire wrapping clean, this is a great place to start. So now we have our 3 extra loops around our base, and I'm going to do this one last time, and then you can complete it, and I'll come back when I am ready to finish off the earring. So like I said, we're holding that bead where we want it, coming down and back around, then taking my finger, I'm just going to pull this through, and coming up next to that bead. And then because we're using the bigger beads, we're going to make some more loops here. Okay, and there we go. So you're going to complete this for the whole hoop. Depending on your hoop size, you might have to do more or less. And I will pop back when I'm done. That took me probably about 2.5 to 3 minutes. It could take you longer depending on the beads you're using. And this is what it's looking like. So when I get to this kind of point here, I have about a little more than 1/4 of an inch, but I don't know if it's quite 1/2 inch yet, left here before I get to my earring post. So to finish this off, all you have to do is do what you did at the very beginning and just do a couple more wraps. You don't have to do it all the way up to the hoop base if you don't want to. In fact, I usually don't. Just try to stack them nicely against each other. And that is a happy length for me. So what I'm going to do is take my flush cutters and I'm going to get nice and close up to this. And I'm just going to snip that extra wire off. And this is where those crimp tools could come in handy. If you feel your hoop, you'll probably feel a tiny little piece that's sticking out a little bit further than the other one. You can kind of see it right there. And so what I like to do is take my crimp tool and kind of go around that sharper edge there and just flatten it down. My standard size crimp is perfect for going around there, and just really gently do that to not take off any, plating. Now over here to finish it off, you kind of have a few options. You could cut it off and unwind it, but I just like to unwind it like this. And then I would snap this back on there just to give yourself a little more room to work with. Take your flush cutters again, get close to the hoop, and snip it off. And here you can really see that standard, just a little thing that's sticking out, and we're just going to take the crimp tool and really gently try to curve it down. So we can see that that is kind of curved down. I can't really feel it. Now, one thing I did not show you was gluing these down. So we saw how easy it was to wrap this up, but it would be very easy to unwrap it as well if you got a hold of it. And we don't want that to happen. Even though they're earrings, hair could get stuck on them, anything really. So especially if you are selling these professionally, you want to take either some jewelry and metal glue. My personal preference is E6000 because jewelry and metal glue can leave a white cast and it can spread onto your bead even if you're trying to be careful. I don't like that. And E6000 does the same, if not a better job, and dries completely clear. So I like to lay down a piece of wax paper, take a little dot of E6000 with a toothpick, and just rub it on this very finished edge and make sure it touches a little bit of the post so that that doesn't go anywhere. And you just do that on both sides. So that is my tutorial for these super duper pretty and cute wire wrapped hoop earrings. If you are very new to making jewelry, I highly recommend trying this out. This is one of the ways I learned how to make my first pair of earrings. So I personally love them. They are great sellers for me, and I hope that if this tutorial helped you, that you would comment it down below because I love hearing from you guys. If you want a tutorial on anything else and possibly I know how to do it, go ahead and comment that down below. And if you want to see how to make these with seed beads, I can most definitely do a separate video on that. That's all I have for today, and I will see you guys next time.